What is up, guys and gals? It's me, Thomas Fan01 here, and today we're back at it again with another long, lengthy video, as we usually tend to do at the end of the year. We always like to recount the year's events. We always like to recount the figures we've reviewed, and as per usual, today we're doing another top 15 studio series of 2024. And take note, there's a couple on that I do not have in here that you guys will probably get mad that I don't have in here, but we're just covering Studio Series and Studio Series 86. We're not covering Gamer Edition. Because there's not enough figures to complete a top 15 yet, and also I haven't obtained half of them because I just chose not to. So we're only going to be counting Studio Series and Studio Series 86 for this video only. So that being said, let's get down to it. So number 15. And coming in at number 15, we have Studio Series Deluxe Class Rise of the Beasts Wheeljack. Now, why is this guy on here? Number one, he's the last of the figures on the totem pole. And the reason he's here is, well, I mean, all things considered, the face sculpt is where they put the majority of their money into this guy. They didn't bother to pay attention to anything else in the marketing department for how he was going to transform, how he was going to stay stable. The only reason he's currently stable right now is because there's a piece of well, maybe not a piece of tape on the bottom of the feet, but I have him procured in just a so stance, and you can't move him in any other way, because if you have him leaning forward, oh, I suppose you can, maybe, well, I suppose if you lean him forward, you can't really do anything, and if you have the heels all the way back, we just get that. So it's not, so you have to so very, very precariously balance this dude, and I don't like having to balance figures on their tippy toes and stuff like that. Not to mention the backpack is just a mess. Like, you guys couldn't have, hid this a little better? I mean, so, anywho. Alright, so coming in now to number 14. Coming in at 14, we have Studio Series Core Class Rumble! And, yes, we have Core Class Rumble. Now, the reason why he's on here is because he was one of the first concept figures to be released. And when I say concept figures, you're going to see what I'm talking about here with another figure later on down the list. But concept figure, well, actually two figures. But the point being is that the reason why this guy is on the list is because he's a concept figure of a character that we never saw in the movie. We never got to really understand all of what was going on with this dude. We never really got to see him in action. We never got to see any of that. He was just in concept and written down in part of the script. There was one part of the script in the Bumblebee movie that that Soundwave was supposed to come to Earth, and this was based on the first draft of the script, pretty much is what I'm saying. So. But yeah, so there we have this guy, and also not to mention, he's just beautifully done. I mean, they didn't have to bother incorporating this guy into Soundwave. They could have literally just given us Ravage, excuse me. They could have literally just given us Ravage, and it would have sufficed for everybody. So I think it's nice that they even bothered to give us this. So now coming in at number 13. Coming in at number 13, it's going to be kind of entertaining here. But we have one that was technically released last year, but if you didn't get it last year, you definitely got it this year. And if you didn't get it this year, then why didn't you buy the 2-pack? So, point being is, here we have Studio Series 86 Brawn. Now, this guy, I believe I got him this year. But you can still go and purchase this guy. I'm not saying he's brand new for this year. It's a good mold. It's just a little meh to me. It's not like, I want to have this guy in there, but at the same time, gotta have that consistency. So, alright, coming in now at number 12. Coming in at number 12, the same rules apply for Brawn as they do with this character. Here we have the Studio Series 86 Voyager Class Ratchet. Now, this guy technically, once again, is not new for this year, but he was new for me this year, so I can't say this is bad to have seen this guy at all and have it go through the way it did. I mean, usually you get an Ironhide mold, you get a Ratchet mold, so that's usually the case. So Now coming on to number 11. Coming in at number 11 is actually a figure I was very surprised that we even got at all. I didn't even think they were going to touch the Last Knight after the last couple figures didn't really sell too well. But here we have Core Class Mohawk. Now, Mohawk is one of those characters that was just really entertaining, only for entertaining value in Transformers The Last Knight. So literally this guy was just a walking talking mouth, really. That's it. And I do like this figure because they did bother to do one thing that you could not do with you can and can't do with other versions of this figure. So you can pop his head off and recreate that scene where Drift cuts his head completely off. So yeah. And his mouth moves, so you don't get very many figures that have mouths that totally open up and close. So they did not need to over-engineer this guy. They chose to over-engineer this guy, which isn't bad in the slightest. And the vehicle mode is very fluent, so it all works out well. So now coming in at number 10, we're at the final double-digit number. So coming in at number 10. Coming in at number 10, we have another figure here to continue with the Bumblebee movie themes here, and this one was just to finish out your collection, but also at the same time, I never saw Thundercracker, but I did manage to get a hold of Skywarp, and honestly, Skywarp is beautiful. The Studio Series Bumblebee movie Seekers are blowing my mind away right now with all of the way that they're doing it. The only thing I don't like about the Studio Series 86 Seekers is the fact they keep giving them the same freaking head sculpt for all of them except for Starscream. You can literally check me on this. Every single Studio Series Bumblebee movie Seeker so far has been given the Studio Series Bumblebee movie Blitzwing head sculpt, and they've been given the Starscream engineering. So, or Starscream skeleton, not the same paint. But the point is that why couldn't they just give these guys different head sculpts? Slightly different head sculpts at that. So, that's my one massive nitpick with this guy. Other than that, he's flawless. Like, seriously, just flawless. I can't complain about any of this. I mean, the transformation is always so fluent. It's just so nice and easy every time I do it. So, yeah. Alright, coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 9 here, we actually have a bot that I was very, very surprised and happy to see, because buying the Netflix version of Siege and the War for Cybertron trilogy stuff, it was starting to get really, really, really annoying. So, come to my surprise to find out that they were going to give us a Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. I was very, very thrilled to have this guy come in, and you can literally go buy this guy right now if you really still want to. So, go ahead and do that. Go check your Walmarts, your Targets. Maybe this guy will show up at Ross next year. I don't know. But the point is that this guy was a very nice, welcome surprise after only having to have the Netflix version suffice as your main Bumblebee. And now you can go. Now there's going to be not that you can, but there is going to be another version of that Bumblebee in this color. Just not with this head sculpt, Generation 1 head sculpt, and all the rest of the accessories that came with the Netflix Bumblebee. So, I feel like that one was a cop-out as a final way to say goodbye to the mold, but honestly, not the worst thing in the world. This is perfectly cartoon accurate. They went for cartoon accuracy all the way with this guy. So, I mean, that's why he's got a bit more of a square back. Not to mention, if you probably were to pair this with Optimus Prime, the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, to be specific, this would just be, it's perfectly scaled. So, yeah. So now, coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 8 is the actual, one of the actual primes that I'm very surprised we even got a new actor for. Here is the Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus Prime, and gotta say, Chris Hemsworth did a very, very good job as Orion Pax and Optimus Prime. I can't even stress that enough. If the man wants the role from this point forward, I would seriously be okay with it. I mean, personally, I would like to have Gary Chalk reprise the role, but this will do just fine. Not to mention, they did a pretty darn good job with the figure. I just don't like, there's two things I massively don't like about this figure, and that's why it's lower on the list. but it is still within the top 10. Um, it's this color that they used for this plastic. It looks like it's yellowed on camera, but in real life, it's like this gray opaque plastic, and that's been painted over in gray paint. And when I say gray, it's like a very like beigey gray. So not like the easiest thing to see on camera because it looks like the whole figure is yellow on camera, but in reality, it's if you look at it, it's not. So if I had to complain about something massive like that, it would be that. And the second thing I don't like about this is this was one of the things you could do with this Optimus Prime, and it was very, very, very easy to take this Matrix out, pop it out, while the figure is still brand new in box, FYI. So you could pop the Matrix out, steal the Matrix, close it back up, and no one be known the wiser. That's what I'm seeing with a lot of this particular Prime. So those are my two massive nitpicks. The only other nitpick that I have to really say is the transformation is a little hollow, dare I say. When you get him into vehicle mode, it's a little hollow, and it's just a little. I feel like there could be a few things they could have improved on this thing, but it's also, once again, in the top 10 for a reason, because the transformation is very fluent. It's very nice. It's very easy. It's very simple. We do have the Energon axe. That is not a particularly everyday occurrence that we get that with an Optimus Prime. Unfortunately, now it is, but you know, back in like 2000, like go back to 2019, 2020, and 21. It was not common to get an axe with your Optimus Prime unless it was like a part of the trailer. So that was the only issue that I take with that. So, all right, moving on to number 7. Now, coming in at number 7, we have an army builder, but I gotta say, this army builder is a very beautiful army builder. So here we have the Transformers Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Deluxe Class Scorponok. Yes, this guy made the list. This guy made the list particularly for the fact that for the Scorpion mode is very, very nice, and I do like the robot mode a lot as well. What I don't like is that you can't really do much with these legs. You can't really fold them anywhere in. You can't really do anything else of the nature. Only these ones rotate. These ones don't do a thing. So you can only fold them back as best you can. And as best you can is a pretty crappy thing to do for this type of figure because the backpack is why it makes it at number 7. The rest of it is pretty darn good. I mean, there's not really much else to say about this thing other than the fact that it's a unique figure in the sense that you have the port for holding stuff in his forearm. And the forearm has to conform to the tail of the Scorpion. So I have to say it's quite nice that's even a thing. I just don't like the fact that they made this dude a massive. You have to buy multiple of this dude in order for you to have the entire army. So yeah. So now we're coming into number 6. So coming in at number 6 is another concept figure that was really a strange one for them to release, in my opinion. I was seriously writing off a lot of these characters when they started listing off the ones they were going to do concept art for, or maybe not concept art, but concept like in the script, and then they just basically, it was like a fart in the room and they left. So to say that it was a little bit of a surprise when this guy came out is a little bit of an understatement, because I really was not expecting to see this guy show up at all. This was one of those figures that I thought was just gonna never show up in Movieverse, period. And then all of a sudden Hasbro was like, well, what name can we use and what molds do we have? What kind of weird, wacky thing can we come up with for this type of figure? Let's do this, give it a Bumblebee-looking makeover, and call it a day. And they knocked it out of the park with that. The transformation on this guy is very easy. It's not very difficult to figure it out at all. This guy also hit shelves at a very, very random time, too. So, it was right around April, May-ish when they started releasing this guy. So I gotta say, it was really a bit of a surprise for all of that. So when they did release this guy, it was just it was a very nice way to say, it was a nice addition to the collection. Let's just leave it at that. So, all right, moving on down. We are down at the last 5. So coming in now at number 5. Coming in at number 5 is a figure that I don't really know if anybody can find it anymore, but if you could find it, you were very lucky. And if you can't find it, then I'm sorry for you. But here is the Studio Series Voyager class Bumblebee movie Shockwave. Now, I was very disappointed when they decided to give this guy a core class instead of a Voyager class or a leader class like everybody was expecting. And then all of a sudden Hasbro was like, hey, 2024, we're releasing another Shockwave. It's going to be the Bumblebee movie one, and it's going to transform, and it's going to be a Voyager class. But we're going to borderline make it a leader class. Yeah, that's right. This thing was like fixing to burst out of the box when I got him. So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's a little bit much. So, when all of that was going on and they released it and they were like, yeah, we'll give you a Voyager class and a leader class, or a leader class and a Voyager class size packaging. That's the way I personally felt about it. But there is one massive mistake that they did do with this. And it's on every copy of this figure. You cannot go without seeing a Bumblebee movie Shockwave without seeing this mistake. If you take a look at the arms here, that is not a Decepticon symbol. That's an Autobot logo, Autobot insignia. So they massively screwed up his faction as to whom he's a part of. But that is why he is sitting at number 5. So, however, that one issue aside, him being at number 5 and still looking beautiful, no backpack, no massive accessory problems. The only thing that I think might have been an issue was the hose for his gun, but even that was easily fixed, so I can't complain. I just can't complain. This guy is one of those figures that is a must-have in your collection, so can't say anything bad about it. Now we're coming in at number 4. So coming in at number 4. We have a very special figure that I was not expecting to get this at all. But coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 4 is one beautiful SOB. And if you have the Transformers 1 Optimus Prime, you kind of have to get the Transformers 1 Megatron to go with it, or D16 as he's currently looking right now. So, I mean, the thing that is really interesting to me is that when you have an Optimus Prime that comes out alongside a Megatron, and Megatron's just gonna go like that because this guy's still on shelves and this guy sold out within 5 minutes. So you know which one's gonna sell and you know which one's gonna stick around forever and probably be in the stocking of everybody's stocking under the Christmas tree this year. So anyways, to continue on about this Megatron though, I gotta say the movie definitely was an upsell for me to buy this figure. Not to mention, you can entirely give him one of the full-on things that he did in the movie, and you can just do that and make it the gigantonormous cannon. So I do appreciate that Hasbro even bothered to give us a Megatron to go with our Optimus Prime. Now, the reason why this guy is number 4 is because it just is the way he looks, A, and B, there is a massive issue with this guy, and it is in the backpack. This backpack is detachable, A, and B, this is painted, the rest of the figure is not. So, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not something that I would definitely scream hey, this is great just for that reason. So anyways, now you know what's coming in. We're coming in the top 3, so now we're at number 3. So number 3. Coming in at number 3 was a final piece to everybody's sets that they have been collecting since 2019, 2020. And that, of course, is Studio Series 86 Leader Class Swoop. And Swoop was definitely a beautiful addition to the collection. I mean, you cannot get all of the Dinobots with and not have Swoop. Like, seriously. The only packaging I don't have for the Dinobots is Sludge. That's it. And Sludge may show up at Ross this year. So I won't be surprised if he does. But, you know, hey, if he does, go get your Dinobot, man. Go get yourself a Dinobot. But if he doesn't, I can't really help you out. I don't know what else to say there. But point being, transformation on this guy is very simple, very easy. It's very fluent, let me just put it that way, and very reminiscent of the original G1 toy. So I gotta say, this toy, or this figure for the year is just one of the best. So I can't complain on it even in the slightest. So now we're coming down to the wire. What's gonna be my number two? What's gonna be my number one? So coming in now at number two. Coming in at number two is a figure that I ended up getting at TFCon LA 2024, and that was earlier in March this year. So I was really stoked to have gotten this guy. I was very happy because I was one of the few people to get it that early. But here is the Transformers Studio Series concept art leader class Megatron. I actually got to see one of these out in the wild today. But my point being with this guy is, if you don't have a definitive Megatron, this is the one to go for. 100%. Like, if you don't have a definitive movieverse Megatron that you can't nail down, like if you can't nail down the Revenge of the Fallen, the 07, the Dark of the Moon, even Transformers 1, if you can't navigate any of those, find yourself one of these. This will suffice for everything. The reason why I say that is because if you look at this head sculpt, it is so reminiscent of the G1 head sculpt. It's almost scary. Well, in fact, it is kind of scary, but it's like a cross between the 07 head sculpt and the G1 head sculpt. Now, he is a triple changer, so that is the one thing I'm going to tell you that is, don't be disappointed when he doesn't turn into a handgun. That's my point. So he turns into a Cybertronian jet, and he turns into a Cybertronian tank. I mean, his box is on the set, like, right over there. So, anyways, this guy is, like I said, the transformation earlier is very easy. Well, maybe not easy, but it's fluent. So, everything compresses the way it needs to, everything looks the way it needs to, and not to mention, posable fingers. We have index finger and we have these fingers here. They all move in and out. Something that is very surprising to me, though, is that they did not what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't include him with some Energon cubes or anything of the nature, because I don't think we know what was going on in the beginning of Bumblebee, aside from the fact that they're all at war. So that being said, here we have it. We are down to number one. Now, number one was a figure that we recently reviewed on the channel, and I could not give it any more of a glowing review. So, I'm hoping you all know exactly what this is. I ranked this dude very highly in his review, and he's still one of the best figures of the year. Here is the Transformers Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. Now, when I got this dude, initially, I wasn't thinking I was ever going to get him. Didn't think it was ever going to show up in my town. Didn't think it was ever going to show up, period. But then, I went to a Target, my local Target, and they had just placed him on the shelf. Me and another collector were eyeballing it, and I said, nope, that's coming home with me. You ain't getting this. And that guy just looked at me and went, okay, you know what? If you got the money to shell it out for it today, go for it. I was like, good, because I do. So I shelled out the money for it, went to Target that very same day after I placed a 24-hour hold, and I just can't even tell you how amazing this figure is in person. So let's just start off with let's bring in one other character that I know needs to come in for this. So, and by the way, his feet excellently designed. So let's bring in another character here. Let's bring him in next to the Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. And I gotta say, the level of cartoon accuracy on these guys is just insane. Like, I can't complain in the slightest about it. The cartoon accuracy on Prime and the cartoon accuracy on Bumblebee is just crazy. So I feel like they just jumped right off of the television screen from 1984 to 1986, and just, yeah, I can feel Peter Cullen's voice coming out of this guy. I can. And we're going to remove Bumblebee really quickly, but one feature that really blew me away with this guy was the fact that you can open up the Matrix chamber exactly the same way as it does in the movie. So, you know, you can't tell me this thing wasn't engineered with love. I think it was engineered with love. It was based off of the Masterpiece version. They had to shrink it down somehow and give it to consumers, and they couldn't figure out a way to do it, and this was how they couldn't figure out how to do it at the earlier at the times, and then later they were like, I think we know how to do this now, and they gave us this beautiful, beautiful miniature masterpiece of a figure. So I cannot say that enough about this figure. It is a beautiful number one as a figure. So anywho, let's get in with that family photo, and then we shall end the video. And what a family photo this is. This is my reviews. Well, maybe not my reviews, but this is my entire Studio Series ranking for the year of 2024. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that fun stuff that's to come this year. That's to come at the end of the month, next month. And I hope everybody has had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. And I hope everybody's had a wonderful holiday season as well. And I hope that your collections keep growing. I hope they all do. So, anyways, this is Thomas Phantom 1 saying, do not forget to subscribe to Jordy's Rail videos, Patrick with a Y, iStar552, Bravely GG, Riveted Rail Fan, Riveted Reviews, Take Along Productions, The Good, the Bad, the Awesome, and New York Toy Hunter, as they've all done some amazing work, along with the fact, do not forget to subscribe to Lemon Lime Studios, do not forget to subscribe to Skibbity Jacket, don't forget to subscribe to Notorious Ball and Kitten Cat 999, as they've all been fans of the show, and they all have shown their support by showing up to the live streams and doing so. So please don't forget to show them some love as well. This is Thomas Phantom 1 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.